Welcome back to the Deep End. Today is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. And if you were listening to this, you are exactly where you need to be in the timeline. We are looking at the calendar, and we are marking this as Day 2.
It's Day 2.
Day 2 of the 78-day reality Transurfing master curriculum.
Yep. The awakening was yesterday, so today is all about stabilization and strategy. And Greg, if you're listening, which, I mean, we know we have a lot of ground to cover.
Well, what?
We are not just talking theory today. We are talking about the specific architecture of your business empire. We're calling this one Hacking the Dream and the Landman Strategy.
The Landman Strategy. I'm excited to get into that. So, yeah, we're going to break down the Greg 3.1 operating system, looking specifically at the Woodlands Loop and, this really high-level Landman franchise concept.
Right.
But before we get into the tactical weeds, and believe me, we will get deep into the weeds on sales scripts, equity models, all of it, we have to set the stage.
You have.
We need to establish the mindset for today.
Precisely. I mean, you can't build a skyscraper on a swamp, right? You have to start with the anchor.
Okay.
And the anchor for today, February 11th, it comes from the Daily Stoic. The entry is titled Hero or Nero.
Hero or Nero. I love that. It sounds like a clash of titans.
It is, but the battleground is internal. It's not about fighting some external enemy. It's about fighting the darker parts of your own nature.
Right.
The quote is from Seneca, and it really hits hard. He says, "Our soul is sometimes a king and sometimes tyrant."
Sometimes a king and sometimes a tyrant. Let's unpack that a little, because in a modern business context, those words get thrown around a lot.
They do.
Usually as metaphors for, leadership styles. But Seneca here, he's talking about self-governance.
He is, 100%. He goes on to explain that a king protects the good health of the body in its care. He attends to what is honorable. Think about that phrasing. Protects the good health of the body. In your case, Greg, the body is the business. It's the Woodlands Loop.
It's your physical health, too, your routine.
All of it. The king is the steward of the entire kingdom.
Okay, so that's the king. What about the tyrant?
The tyrant is the id. The tyrant is uncontrolled, desire-fueled, overindulged. The tyrant is purely reactive. It's the part of you that just screams for immediate gratification.
That is such a powerful dichotomy for a founder. I mean, really. Because when you're running a business, especially a solo operation or one of these high-leverage agency models, you really are the ruler of that little kingdom.
You are the absolute monarch.
Yeah, there's no board of directors to tell you no. There's no HR department to tell you to, calm down. It is just you.
Exactly. And so the question for you today, Greg, as you step into Day 2 is a simple one. Which version is running the Woodlands Loop right now?
Right now, this morning.
Is it the king who executes the plan because it is honorable and necessary? The king who sticks to the 6.5 hours of deep work because he knows that protects the body of the business? Or is it the tyrant?
Let's make this visceral. What does the tyrant actually look like on a Wednesday morning?
The tyrant is the one checking the email stats every 5 minutes. The tyrant is checking the Stripe dashboard 14 times before lunch.
The tyrant is obsessed with the scoreboard.
Obsessed, because the tyrant is driven by anxiety. He needs that immediate validation. Did they open it? Did they like it? Why haven't they called me back? Is this even working?
And that creates chaos.
It does, because he's a slave to impulse. If the numbers are down for an hour, the tyrant panics and wants to change the whole strategy. If the numbers are up, the tyrant gets arrogant, gets complacent, and stops doing the work.
Okay, and the king. How does the king behave?
The king acts with what the Stoics called constantia steadiness. The king knows the email went out. The king knows the offer is good. The king moves on to the next task on the list.
Because he trusts the system.
He trusts the system. He understands that the health of the kingdom isn't measured in minute-by-minute fluctuations. So the mission for today, Greg, before you send a single email or write a single line of copy, is to dethrone the tyrant. You are the king of this ecosystem. Act like it.
That sets up the Transurfing theme for today perfectly. It's a great transition. We're on Day 2 of the curriculum, and the theme is Hacking the Dream. And this connects directly to that idea of steadiness.
This is one of Vadim Zeland's core concepts. And for anyone new to Transurfing, or, if you just need a refresher on the physics of it all, the idea is that reality is essentially a dream that you can control, but, and this is the big but, only if you wake up within it.
So most people are sleepwalking.
Completely sleepwalking. They're reactive. They're just characters in a script written by someone else, usually by these big societal pendulums.
So how do you hack it? What's the actual mechanic?
You step into the audience hall. That is a specific visualization for today. Think about your life as a stage play. Most people are on stage, under the hot lights, sweating, frantically trying to remember their lines, worried about what the other actors are doing.
They are trapped in the drama.
They are the drama. To hack the dream, you mentally step off the stage, you walk down the little stairs, and you find a seat in the audience. And you just watch the play, you watch yourself acting, you watch the other characters.
This is what you call observer mode.
Correct. And Greg, here is your specific tactical application for today, Wednesday the 11th. You've got that Google business profile audit scheduled for the 9:30 a.m. block.
Right.
The old Greg, the tyrant version, would go into that meeting feeling all this pressure. He'd be thinking, I need to sell this. I need to impress this business owner. If I don't close this, my revenue goal for the week is shot.
Of course, because he's attached to the result.
Right.
He's gripped by what Transurfing calls importance.
Exactly. In Transurfing, importance creates what's called excess potential. If you want something too much, you create this tension field that the universe or the variance space will try to balance out.
And it usually balances out by giving you the opposite of what you want.
The harder you grasp, the more slippery it gets. Every time.
So the hacked approach is different.
The hacked approach, the observer approach, is to view that business owner not as a prospect who holds your fate in their hands, but as a character in a script. You are just watching them. You are profiling them. You are totally detached.
Looking at the game board from above.
Right. And when you detach, you lower importance. And when you lower importance, you eliminate the excess potential that usually just ruins sales calls.
It's the difference between needing the sale and, simply offering a solution because you know it works.
It's the difference between a beggar and a king. A king doesn't need you to take the deal. A king offers you an opportunity to improve your standing in the kingdom. If you take it, great, good for you. If you don't, the king remains the king.
That's the energy.
That is the energy of hacking the dream.
I want to touch on one more mindset piece before we get to the nuts and bolts of the business strategy. This concept of the mirror and the delay. This is huge in the source material for day 2.
Oh, it's fundamental. It's the physics of transurfing. Reality is a dual mirror. On one side, you have the physical world, that's the reflection. On the other side, you have the variance space, that's the image, or like the blueprint.
Okay.
The rule is simple. The reflection always matches the image, but there is a delay.
Right, like those old sluggish mirrors in a funhouse, but with a time lag.
A great way to think of it is like a heavy ship changing course. You turn the wheel, that's you changing your mindset, your identity to, I am the digital mayor. You are emitting that frequency.
You're holding the image.
You're holding the image.
Right.
But the ship, your bank account, your client list, your physical circumstances, it keeps moving in the old direction for a little while just due to momentum.
And this is where most people fail, isn't it? They turn the wheel, they look at the water, see the ship hasn't turned yet, and they scream, it's not working, and they let go of the wheel.
Precisely. They react to the reflection instead of holding the image. Craig, you are currently the digital mayor. That is the image you are broadcasting. The reflection, the revenue hitting the Stripe account, is lagging behind.
It could lag by a few days, a few weeks.
Or a few months.
Wow.
Your job on day 2 is to trust the delay. Do not look at the reflection to validate who you are. You define who you are, you hold that image, and you wait for the mirror to catch up.
That connects so well to the Dan Coe material we have here about Future Greg, because Future Greg is the person holding the wheel.
He is. Dan Coe talks about the cybernetic loop. You aren't where you want to be because you aren't the person who would be there.
It's an identity problem, not a tactic problem.
100%.
So let's profile Future Greg. Who is this guy? What's he like?
Okay, so Future Greg is, according to the profile, very strong on routine.
Yeah.
He doesn't grind. He doesn't white-knuckle his way through the day. The work is it's a natural byproduct of his existence.
It just flows.
It just flows. He puts on the totem, the glasses, the ring, and he anchors that identity. He doesn't need motivation to do the 9:30 a.m. deep work block any more than he needs motivation to brush his teeth. It's just what he does.
I love that. You don't need motivation. You need alignment. If your identity is, I am a high-performance media mogul, then analyzing a Google business profile isn't a chore.
It's just you doing your job.
It's just the work.
Exactly. So with the king on the throne and the observer in the audience, let's look at the kingdom itself. Let's talk about the Woodlands Loop.
Let's unpack this engine. Because looking at the source material, this is not just another newsletter. It's framed as a hyperlocal media engine.
Right. And we need to be very, very clear about the gap in the market here. The Woodlands specifically is drowning in information. If you want to know every single event happening in a 20-mile radius, you can find a list. There are plenty of what's happening websites.
But they're noisy. They're just lists.
They are noise, uncurated data dumps. They're overwhelming. The gap you identified, Greg, is curation. The value proposition of the Woodlands Loop is curated content for people who care.
That tagline is gold. For people who care, it immediately clarifies the audience you want.
It does. It signals that this is for the affluent, the discerning, the people who value their time more than their money. They don't want to know about every coffee shop.
They want to know the best coffee shop.
The best one. They don't want a list of 50 financial planners. They want to know who the brain trust is. They want the signal, not the noise.
We have this concept in the notes called the unboring guide.
That's the editorial voice. It's the antidote to the generic, AI-generated fluff that clogs up local SEO. The content mix is threefold.
Go.
First, observational. You're documenting what is actually worth knowing. Second, personal. Main character energy. This is you, Greg, testing the coffee, walking the trails, being the guide.
That personal touch is key. That's what builds the digital mayor persona.
It does. People trust people, not faceless brands. And the third element is expert-driven. Bringing in the local golf pros, the health experts, the wealth managers, you become the platform for other authorities, which in turn elevates your own authority.
And this all leads to what you call the unfunnel portfolio strategy. This is a really interesting pivot from how most marketers think.
Yeah, most people are obsessed with building a funnel. Add landing page sale. You are building a portfolio of capability.
Break that down for me. What does that mean in practice?
Okay, think about the TikTok and YouTube channels. A lot of local marketers think, I need to go viral on TikTok to get clients. That is the wrong metric. That's the tyrant looking for a dopamine hit.
So it's not about the view count.
Yeah, not primarily. For Greg, those channels are proof of work.
So when you make a video about a local coffee shop, let's say Third Gen Coffee, the goal isn't just to get 10,000 views.
The goal is to have a digital asset, a piece of your portfolio that you can send to a prospective client, say a high-end law firm or a franchise consultant, and say, I create quality local business content. Look at this video I made. Look at the production value, the storytelling. Do you want me to do this for you?
It's a portfolio piece. It proves you can do the job before they even hire you. You're showing, not telling.
Exactly. And it creates this beautiful flywheel. Step one, you create content, like the coffee guide. Step two, you feature businesses, which builds goodwill and authority. Step three, other businesses see that quality and they want it for themselves. And step four, that converts into agency services.
For the engine. Okay, so now let's talk about how we monetize it. The sales model breakdown. The source material outlines 3 specific pathways in the media kit. And Greg, you need to pay close attention here because this is the cash register.
This is where the strategy gets tactical. You need a menu that allows people to enter your ecosystem at different friction levels.
Path 1 is editorial coverage, and this is invite only.
This is absolutely crucial for maintaining the curated status.
Yeah.
You cannot just buy your way into the editorial recommendations. If the Woodlands Loop says a coffee shop is the best, it has to actually be the best. So, path 1 is free. We pick you because you are good.
But there's a twist, right? There's an upsell.
There is always a back end, and this is the recognition package. It's priced at $497 package. Here's the play. You write the article featuring them, you call them up, and we'll get to the script in a second, and you say, hey, you made the list.
That's high status. You're giving them value right out of the gate.
Pure value. Then the follow-up sequence kicks in. Hey, the article is live. It looks great. By the way, if you want to amplify this, if you want us to blast it to our email list, create 5 custom social posts for you using our assets, and do a quick Google business profile audit. That's the recognition package.
That is brilliant. It's so smart because they're already excited about being featured. They want people to see it. You're just selling them the megaphone.
Exactly. And $497 is a total no-brainer price point for a business doing decent revenue. It acts as a tripwire, it turns a free feature into a paying client, and more importantly, it gets them into your system.
It changes the relationship.
It changes the relationship from journalist subject to vendor client.
Okay, then we have path 2, guaranteed media placement.
This is for the businesses that need timing and certainty. Maybe they have an event coming up or they just opened. They can't wait for you to discover them organically. They need the spotlight now, so they pay for the slot. This can range from, say, a $750 featured article up to a $3,000 a month premium partnership.
And finally, Path 3 is ongoing marketing support.
This is the classic agency model, done for you, your Google business profile management, reputation monitoring, that kind of thing. Starting at $497 a month, this is the recurring revenue baseline. This pays the bills, this keeps the lights on.
So let's role play the recognition call for a second. This is the cold call that isn't a sales call. This is key.
This is critical for day 2. You're doing outreach. The script is so simple. Hi, this is Greg with the Woodlands Loop. I'm calling because you made the list.
You made the list. That phrase is powerful. It sounds like they won an award.
Basically, they did. In their mind, that's exactly what happened. You explain, I'm writing an article about the top coffee shops in the area, and based on your reviews and your reputation, you are in. I just wanted to verify your email so I can send you the link when it goes live.
What's the core psychology there? Why does that work so well?
It triggers reciprocity. Cialdini's principle. You are giving them something valuable, status, recognition, free press, without asking for a single thing in that first breath. Their guard just drops. They are happy to hear from you. You're not a telemarketer, you're a journalist, a curator.
You're a benevolent king granting them a title.
Exactly. And then the follow-up sequence does all the heavy lifting.
Right. Day 3 email. Want to amplify? Day 7. A social proof case study. Hey, here's the reach that competitor X got when they amplified their feature.
It turns a cold outbound effort into a warm inbound conversion. It just flips the entire dynamic.
Okay, so that's the local engine. That builds the cash flow, the authority, the digital mayor status. But there's a much bigger play here, the Landman franchise model.
This is the wealth scale.
Yeah.
This is where we move from trading time for money to actually building assets. This is the pivot from self-employed to business owner on the cash flow quadrant.
Explain the landman metaphor for us.
Okay, so in the oil and gas industry, a landman is the person who secures the lease. They do the legwork, find the spot, get the rights, they drill the well. But often, the mineral rights owner, the person who owns the land, puts up the capital or just holds the rights. The deal is, I'll drill it, you own the land, and we split the production.
We split the oil that comes out.
We split the oil. So how does this apply to franchise consultants?
Yeah, that's the question.
Okay, let's define the partner here. Franchise consultants are people who help you buy a franchise. They're like realtors for businesses. And they make huge commissions, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a pop when someone buys a franchise through them.
That sounds like a great gig. What's their big problem?
They have one massive existential problem: lead generation. They hate cold calling. They live and die by referrals, which are inconsistent. Or they buy leads from these giant portals, places like Franchise Help, that sell the same lead to 10 other consultants.
It's a Shark Tank.
It's a bloodbath. They're desperate for exclusive, high-quality attention.
Enter Greg.
Greg comes in and says, I will build you a never-ending sales funnel. I will build you a community, a school community where you are positioned as the expert. I will drill a well for you.
And the offer structure. Let's get specific.
Phase 1 is the build. The partner, the consultant, pays a $5,000 a month retainer for 3 months. That's $15K total. Plus, they cover all the ad spend.
So Greg gets paid $15 just to build the machine. That de-risks it for him.
Correct. That covers your time and your expertise. That's your drilling fee. But the magic is phase 2. Once the well is drilled and it's producing meaning, once the leads are flowing into that school community, the retainer drops to zero. Zero. But in exchange, you take a 50-50 split on LL commissions generated by that community forever.
Whoa. Okay, let's look at the math on that. That's significant.
One closed deal is roughly a $20,000 commission. That means $10,000 to the consultant and $10,000 to Greg.
And if that community generates just one deal a month,
that's $10,000 a month in recurring revenue from one partner without you having to do the daily grind of selling. You are just maintaining the machine.
And if you have 5 partners like that,
now you're talking. That's $50,000 a month plus the initial build fees. This is why it's an equity play. You are turning your agency skills into an investment vehicle. You aren't just a service provider, you are a partner in their revenue stream.
Why would a franchise consultant agree to give away 50%? That seems really high.
Because 50% of something is a hell of a lot better than 100% of nothing.
Fair point.
Right now, they are starving for leads. They are sitting by the phone hoping it rings. You are offering them an exclusive branded ecosystem where they are the star. And remember, they don't pay the retainer forever. They get a machine that works, and they only pay you when they get paid. It de-risks it for them in the long run.
And the engine for this, you said, is school.
Yes. The Local Guide Marketing Academy is your prototype for this. You build a community, traffic comes in from LinkedIn or targeted ads, they join the school community, the well, they get nurtured with valuable content, how to choose a franchise, financing 101,
They see the value, build trust.
and then they book a call. The consultant closes the deal, you get paid.
It's brilliant because it leverages your core content skills, the same skills you're using for the Woodlands Loop, but you're pointing them at a much higher ticket transaction.
Exactly. Selling a $497 Google Business Profile package is great for cash flow, but selling a $200,000 franchise where you get a $10,000 slice, that's wealth. That's leverage.
I want to talk about how these two worlds connect. Because on the surface, the Woodlands Loop and franchise consulting seem totally different. One is local consumer content, the other is high-ticket B2B.
They're different spokes on the same flywheel. This is the coalition building aspect of the strategy.
Walk us through the neighborhood guides concept.
Okay, think about a specific neighborhood like Creekside Park. You build a deep dive guide for that neighborhood on the Woodlands Loop. Best parks, schools, coffee shops, market trends, all of it.
That's super valuable content for anyone living there or thinking of moving there.
Extremely. Now, who is the one person who wants to be seen as the ultimate authority on Creekside Park?
A realtor.
A realtor. So you find one exclusive realtor partner for that guide.
One, not 10.
One. They sponsor the guide. It says presented by realtor name. They don't have to write the articles. They don't have to figure out SEO. They just fund it. And they get the authority transfer. When someone searches living in Creekside Park, they find your high-quality guide, and that realtor is the face of it.
And that builds the coalition.
Yeah.
I see it now.
It connects all the dots. The newsletter builds the audience. The audience attracts the sponsors, like the realtors and financial planners. The content, like the coffee rankings and BBQ lists, creates these authority tripwires.
And that authority is what allows you to make those calls, the warm notifications, to the franchise consultants with a straight face.
Exactly. You can say to a franchise consultant anywhere in the country, look at what I built for the Woodlands, look at this community, look at this engagement, I can build this for you. The local work is the case study for the national work.
It's a unified ecosystem. It's not two separate businesses. It's a portfolio of capability.
And it all feeds the digital mayor identity. You are the hub. You are the connector.
Okay, let's pivot to the marching orders for day 2.
Yeah.
We have the strategy. We have the mindset. What does execution look like today, specifically?
It all comes back to the machine, the master operating system that's outlined in the source material.
The 5.55 a.m. start.
5.55 a.m., wake up, this is the reset. You get outside, grounding, no phone. You ask the question, what is the one thing I can do right now to create momentum?
And then the fuel.
6.15 a.m., warm cacao, plus the stack methylation, all of it. You treat your biology like a Ferrari engine. You don't put regular unleaded in a Ferrari.
And then the deep work, the most important block.
9:30 a.m. to 12:00 DM. This is the digital mayor build time. This is non-negotiable. This is where you do the GBP audit. This is where you write the coffee guide.
And this brings us right back to the Stoic check. Tyrant or king?
The king protects his time with his life. The king knows that this 2.5-hour block is where the empire is built. The tyrant wants to check Slack. The tyrant wants to scroll LinkedIn to see if anyone liked the post from yesterday. The king says, no, we build.
The king is also the one who engages observer mode during that time.
Yes. When you are in that 9.30 block today, Greg, remember, you are hacking the dream. Watch yourself work. Admire the craft. If you feel that anxiety rising, that's the tyrant trying to get back on the throne. Acknowledge it and then step back into the audience. Watch the anxiety. Don't be the anxiety.
We also need to mention the specific Transurfing task for today regarding the mirror.
Right. The affirmation. I am the digital mayor. My world takes care of me.
When you look in the mirror, literally or metaphorically at your business stats, do not judge the reflection. Emit the image you want to see. Smile at the mirror first. The reflection will smile back eventually, but you have to go first.
The reflection will smile back eventually, and that requires so much trust in the process.
It requires knowledge, not just blind faith. Faith is blind. Knowledge understands the physics of the variance space. You know the delay exists. So when the reflection hasn't smiled back yet, you don't panic. You just wait. You know it's coming. I want to wrap up with this final provocative thought from the source notes. I love this. The glass is already broken.
This is a beautiful Stoic concept. There's a story of a Zen master who had this prized teacup. He loved it, he used it every day, he showed it off. But he always told himself, The glass is already broken.
Meaning he accepted the fact that one day it would inevitably break.
Meaning that in his mind, the loss had already happened. So when it eventually did fall and shatter, he didn't lose his composure. He simply said, of course, it was already broken.
How does Greg apply this to the Woodlands Loop today?
2 ways. Treat the business as if the success has already happened, so you don't need to grasp for it so desperately. Or treat a specific deal, like that 9.30 audit, as if it has already failed, so you don't fear the rejection.
If the glass is already broken, you have nothing to lose.
Exactly. And if you have nothing to lose, you are free. You can act with what we call calm assertive energy. You can make that recognition call without your voice shaking, because who cares? It's already broken, or it's already a success. Either way, you are just playing the part.
You are just the author of the script.
You are the author. You write the script. Let the sequence unfold.
Greg, today is day 2. The mission is clear. Hacking the dream, the Landman strategy. Be the king, not the tyrant. Move calmly.
We'll see you on day 3.